Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Srikanth. I head operations for AyurUniverse, and we are the largest wellness portal in India offering preventive wellness, ailment management, online and signature programs in yoga, Ayurveda, and naturopathy for global customers since 2016. We host more than 300 wellness centers in India and abroad with large presence in India and Sri Lanka in our portal. In the coming years, we are looking at having a global presence. So far, more than 1,000 customers across 25 countries have booked their wellness programs through AyurUniverse. We are the only e-commerce portal approved by the Department of Tourism Karnataka and the Department of Tourism in India. We are also the member of the Global Wellness Institute, California. Today, we are bringing you a webinar in collaboration with Sitaram Beach Resort. The topic is Panchakarma, an ancient biohack to enhance your immunity and vitality. Just to give a brief introduction about Sitaram, they established in 1921 with the blessings of Maharaja of Cochin, His Highness Ramavarma 50. Their vision is to guide humanity experience sustain optimal health with the mission of helping people become immune to all preventable diseases through innovative, result-oriented healing solutions. Sitaram Beach Retreat is the brainchild of Dr. Vignesh Devraj, and it's a NABH accredited hospital with 18 luxury cottages and 9 premium villas and 8 Ayurvedic treatment rooms. They have a beautiful butterfly garden, a medicinal garden, and a beachfront garden. And they also have on-call translator service in German, French, and Russian. Now, let me take the pleasure and privilege of introducing Dr. Vignesh Devraj. He is the founder and chief physician of Sitaram, a fourth-generation Ayurvedic healer. He is the director of Sitaram Ayurveda Private Limited, holds a graduate degree from Kerala University, Thiruvananthapuram, and postgraduate degree from Rajiv Gandhi Health University, Bangalore. A committed practitioner and a researcher on Panchakarma, a very well-known international speaker on natural healing, Ayurveda, meditation, and transformation. An expert in ancient healing concepts, making it more accessible to the modern world, an avid traveler who studies and explores the lesser-known healing methods from around the world. He has spoken about Panchakarma and its healing powers at New Living Expo, San Francisco Bay Area's largest gathering of spirituality seekers, Singularity University, Cracking the Wellness Code Summit 2018 and Silicon Valley, Yoga World at Stuttgart, and the Cologne Business School, among other venues. Warm welcome to you, Dr. Devraj. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And
thank you.
I have a lot of questions for you.
Sure.
So we have time and let's see how it goes. I know that you are a busy person. We have a cutoff like 6 o'clock. We will make maximum use of your time with us, and let's go ahead and get started. Doctor, the first foremost question I have for you is, what is the reason for Sitaram Beach Retreat?
As you saw in my bio, first of all, thank you for inviting me for this interview. And I also congratulate AyurUniverse and the owners for creating such a platform in India, because we see a lot of wellness platforms abroad. It's high time we have something in India, and I really congratulate you for this initiative.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Really happy to associate with you guys there. So the story behind Sitaram Beach Retreat is my own story with Panchakarma. Okay, as you read my bio, you saw that I'm a fourth generation, which means, I was born in a family where Ayurveda was practiced, and so I didn't have a choice. I was forced into it. So the fact that you're forced into it, you didn't have the choice to think, okay, is it good or do I have a, but on the other hand, I didn't know what I wanted to do on the other hand. But my childhood, whenever I felt sick, they used to give me kashayams and do treatments which I did not like very much. So that was, so I was not a big fan of Ayurveda, even though I spent a lot of time in pharmacy, in the medicine plant gardens, but they didn't taste good and the treatments didn't do well for me. I had a very not so good association with the Ayurvedic therapies during my childhood. So on the other hand, I had a sweet tooth. I love sugar and a lot of sweets. So a time came when I started putting on a lot of weight and severe allergy hit me. So
Okay.
my father, being an Ayurvedic doctor, he told me, you have to become an Ayurvedic doctor. And if you're sick like this, no one is going to come to you. You are a very bad role model to be a doctor if you have such a health. And then he gave me the usual kashayams, which I don't like. But the end, it happened that my allergies went to such a great extent that I had to do a Panchakarma.
Okay.
So even while doing that Panchakarma, I didn't enjoy it that much because I was put under four walls, and you just all the entertainment you had was a television. This hospital where I did was right in the city. But the good news was, after I did this Panchakarma, my whole energy shift was just phenomenal. Then I could finally start breathing. Before, when I go to sleep, I used to have blocked nose and I have to put some deep congestion. Now I sleep, I breathe. Now my thinking is better. My whole energy shifted. Then I told my father, I wish to do this every year to maintain my health. But at the same time, I realized I have been going back to my old habits also. After this Panchakarma, I got better, but at the same time, I started getting back to my old binge eating, especially sugar habits. Then a time came I have to redo it again. So then I said, I wish to do it in some other place where my father is not there, where I'll have my freedom to do it on my own. But when I was looking for that place, I wanted to do it in a place where there is nature and where there is calmness.
Okay.
So whenever I saw a place where there is nature, it was basically resorts where they did good Ayurveda, but it doesn't have the intensive healing of a doctor-run clinic.
Okay.
When you go to a doctor-run clinic, there is a completely different energy there. The doctor is taking complete responsibility.
Right.
It is not by some hotel-run management. Okay, then we have a Ayurveda department and then you run it. So this is where I saw where there is nature, because they are already in the business of resort.
Right.
So they were able to do that. So I realized a real hospital which has a blend of nature and the elements of nature's healing power was completely missing. So then I realized it's time I start one. And I also noticed that my habits of going back to my unhealthy habits. So we need a system where people can come and learn how to be healthy. And Ayurveda is all about habits.
Right.
See, the first chapter in Ashtanga Hridayam, I mean, Ashtanga Hridayam is one of the textbooks. The first chapter is actually the introduction. Soon after the introduction, the first chapter is about Dinacharya, which is all about habits that will keep you healthy and vital and help you live long. So then I realized we need a place where we create this sanctuary where the moment people come, see, habits has a lot to do with your environment.
Absolutely.
See, and there is also a study. If you are spending time with an obese person, there is 57% higher chances that you will also become obese.
And
whoever is higher, like the pendulum's technique, Eugene's pendulum technique, when two things go together, they go match. Same way. So we wanted to create a place where their distractions are much less, where they are able to connect with their inner self, where they are connected with nature. And along with that, parallelly, when you do that Panchakarma, a transformation happens in such a way that, they feel, no, I don't want to go back to my unhealthy habits. I'm so healthy. And I learned how to, bulletproof myself into getting back to unhealthy habits.
Fantastic.
So that is my vision behind starting Sitaram Beach Retreat.
Okay. I mean, that's a very inspiring. I never expected that response from you. So you spoke about Panchakarma. Before going to Panchakarma, I have this question. If you have to explain Ayurveda to a common man, and especially in Indian, the reason why I'm asking this question is, it appears to me that the foreigners seem to be knowing more about our traditional wellness Ayurveda than the Indians. So normally when I tell Ayurveda, people think it is just taking a tablet and putting in the mouth, right?
Yes.
And how do you explain this beyond a tablet? What is Ayurveda?
I would like to answer two questions. One question you asked is, why are Westerners more interested in Ayurveda than Indians, even though the birthplace is in India? But before that, Ayurveda is a science of living young for as long as possible. And not just living young and healthy and having vitality. See, in the beginning of Ayurveda, it is mentioned, no matter what you have in your life, be it fame, be it money, be it friends, be it family, but if you don't have health, it's all good for nothing.
Okay.
But even if you don't have any of these, but if you have health, you can gain it all back.
Right.
So health is the foundation of a beautiful life. So without health, there is nothing that works.
Right.
Now that is what Ayurveda is. It's a manual of how to live young and healthy for as long as possible.
Fantastic.
Now people say, okay, I want to live long, but there is no point in living long if there is no health.
Absolutely.
That.
Yeah.
Now the other question, why Westerners are more interested? It is not that Westerners are more interested. Even Indians are more interested in Ayurveda, but there is a notion that Westerners are more committed to Ayurveda than Indians. One of the main reasons,
right.
If you look at the Indian history before the British invasion, we were one of the highest GDPs in the world.
Right.
200 years ago. And when British left, our poverty was one of the highest in the world.
Right.
And Ayurveda's ability to cater a poverty society is much less. Where modern medicine is a fantastic magic.
Oh.
The word has to be magic, because when people are under poverty, they have a lot of infectious diseases. They have lots of other emergency medicine matters. So when it comes to this emergency medicine, modern medicine is God, because somebody is going to die. So at that time, it's only modern medicine that can come and give it there. But and on the other hand, modern medicine has 80% of the diseases that are mentioned in modern medicine are idiopathic in nature. When you call idiopathic, it means they don't know what are the causes of this disease. So when you don't have a cause for a disease, you cannot really treat it. It's as good as playing Russian roulette.
Yes.
You don't know.
Yes.
It's like going to a casino. If it wins, it wins. Otherwise, you just get symptomatic relief you get rid of that. And the difference between Western medicine and Ayurveda is, Western medicine is an answer to humanity's question. How can I add more years to my life? Because people were dying and I don't want people to die. So I want to invent something so that we can save people from dying. And that is where Western medicine came.
Right.
And Ayurveda is an answer to humanity's question. How can I add more life to my years? There's no point in just living like that. You need to have more energy and vitality. See, you have a great mattress, but if you're not able to fall asleep, it's good for nothing.
Absolutely.
You have a great chef, people are giving you food, but if you don't have the appetite, again, it's good for nothing.
Right. Absolutely, doctor.
So there is no point in just living. Along with good living, you need to have good health also. So that is where Ayurveda came. And if you look at the methodology of treatments mentioned in Ayurveda, it talks a lot about diseases of people where food was abundant. Because when Ayurveda was written, at that point of time, lots of people were having diseases. See, in Ayurveda, it is common sense. Every disease that you take, the human beings are suffering from, you can classify it into two types: disease of undernourishment or overnourishment. Or overconsumption, not the nourishment, overconsumption. So diseases of overconsumption, modern medicine is a big failure there. And I have to put it explicitly, it's a real failure. They don't have a treatment for diabetes. They don't have a treatment for blood pressure. All they give is just symptomatic relief. But when somebody is having a heart attack, you give it to a cardiologist, within minutes, the life comes back. So when it comes to diseases of overconsumption, Ayurveda had fantastic therapies, because Ayurveda was written at a time when many people were suffering from diseases of overconsumption. Because the quality of life at that time was fantastic. The food supply was fantastic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be writing about therapies like Panchakarma. So Ayurveda, it talks about how to eliminate when you have so much of diseases because of overconsumption, unhealthy habits, in all lifestyle disorders. That is why Ayurveda will only get more and more relevant in the future. It is not like before, it's an ancient science. It's only going to get more and more relevant.
Right.
So that is in a nutshell to...
Wow, that's a very brilliant response. I never knew about this. I mean, overconsumption and undernourished. And that's a very, I think it's an important learning for me. Now that we have spoken about Ayurveda, can we just talk to us more about what is Panchakarma and how is it relevant to today's health issues?
Okay. Now, before I mentioned about diseases of undernourishment.
Undernourished, yeah.
Now, let us understand what are the diseases of undernourishment. Okay, let's say your dehydration is a undernourishment. Or you are having some vitamin deficiency, that's undernourishment. Or you're having hypoglycemia, sugar levels are low. So, or you're having low iron, iron levels are low. These are typical diseases of undernourishment.
Mm-hmm.
Or suddenly there is an electrolyte imbalance. That person is losing, or there is a hemorrhage, what blood is losing out, so they are not able to have enough requirements to survival. So when you take diseases of overnourishment, like you're overweight, you're having diabetes, your uric acid levels are high, your cholesterol levels are high, your pain is hurting, there's too much of inflammation. So when you take these two categories of disease of undernourishment is much easier to treat than the diseases of overnourishment.
Wow.
Okay, let's say you're having deficiency of vitamin D. You either you go to a place where there is good sun and you get it, or you take some vitamin D supplements. Okay. Or let's say your iron is deficient, you take some iron supplements, or some worst case scenario, you can have an iron injection as well. You're having electrolyte imbalance, you get some electrolytes inside. But when it comes to you're having overconsumption, there is too much of sugar inside you, there is too much of cholesterol. You cannot just eliminate it just like that. Because consumption, there is no limit. God did not put a limit in your tongue. It can keep on going. But elimination is limited because God had to protect your body. So there is a limit how much you can eliminate from your body. There is a limit how much you can urinate. There is a limit how much you can poop per day. Yes, there are diseases that comes like diarrhea, or you perspire a lot, but that's a different case. In a day, in a person who is considerably healthy, there is a limit how much they can eliminate. But our consumption is infinite today because the food industry is so fantastic.
Right.
We rarely see people dying of famine, or we rarely see anyone, okay, he didn't get food and he died. That is something that we did in the history.
Right.
We don't read anymore. Today we read, okay, somebody died of heart attack, somebody died of stroke, somebody died of cancer. So the humanity, because of our evolution and our ability to bring more control over agriculture and cattle, the food supply is so abundant today. And the problem is, our brain was designed 200,000 years ago. And when our brain was designed, nature devised our brain in such a way that whenever you get food, you have to eat as much as possible, because we never knew when the next food supply was going to come.
Okay.
So the reward point is, whenever you eat, the more I eat, I'm going to feel safe, because I know that I can live and fight the next animal that is going to come and kill me, or I can survive that.
Right.
So in such a situation, on one hand, our brain is still greedy for food or needy for food. On the other hand, the food supply got more and more, because ancient times, if you wanted, there is a anthropologist and a historian, he was claiming that in 10,000 BC, the sugar consumption was like 20 teaspoons per day. 20 teaspoons per year.
Wow.
And today it is 22 teaspoons per day.
Wow.
So, it's like exponential growth, and our physical activity has also come down.
Yes.
So our body was not designed for the today's the food industry supply. And what has happened is, now the industrial boom has happened. Now they realize they are producing more than what people can consume. So we have to find a way that, they can consume it. So we have to find a way. See, food industry is one of the biggest scams that are happening legally today. And that is why, and because Panchakarma is so relevant today, because there was a time when food was so abundant and people were suffering with this disease. That is why Panchakarma was written in Ayurveda. Right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have written that. And it was written for people who are, it is told that these are problems of rich people. Hundreds of years, these were problems of rich people. But today, even a common man is having diabetes because food supply is fantastic. Right. Okay, there is a good side to it, but the other side is this one. Right. So Panchakarma, see, before understanding Panchakarma, let's decode the word for human body in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, the word for human body is called as Sharira. Sharira, yes. Sharira, if you take the etymology is like, understanding how the words are formed. And Sanskrit is a fantastic language. You can put many, it's like playing with Legos. You put few words and the new message is coming. So in Sanskrit, the word Sharira literally, okay, if you look at the English Sanskrit dictionary, it shows that it is living body or human body or any body.
Right.
But if you take the etymology, it says anything that keeps dying every moment. So
Okay.
our body is a continuous dying mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So like, only if you die, you are born again. Or only if something
Yes.
dies, something is born again.
Correct.
But that is more of a spiritual meaning. Like, you can never step into the same river twice because the water keeps flowing.
Right. Flowing, yes.
But if you take it in a medical terminology, medical approach to this definition, our body is a constant waste eliminating mechanism. We are constantly eliminating waste. See, you go on a highway and if you see a factory, how do you know if this factory is functioning? You see the waste coming out.
Yes.
And say the difference between a living body and a dead body is dead body stops eliminating waste.
Correct.
The dead body will stop eliminating carbon dioxide. The dead body will stop perspiring.
Right.
Yes, blood circulation, heart rate, all of this is there. What is the final outlook, how a dead body and a living body looks? The dead body stops producing waste.
Right.
And waste production is a sign of life. If you see a factory and if you see there is waste being produced, pollution happening, that means that factory is functioning.
Operating, yes.
So when our waste elimination is reduced or compromised, our health is also compromised. I mean, you might have seen in some movies, somebody is going to drive the car and some guy goes and keeps a tennis ball in the exhaust pipe of the car. Then suddenly
then he chokes.
He cannot start the
yes.
car at all.
Right. It completely chokes.
Unless you drive an electric car like Tesla. But if it's a combustion, you put the fuel, it burns, and the carbon monoxide has to come out. So you have to put that once you block that, because the flow of energy is blocked.
Yeah.
So when this flow of energy is blocked, then the body starts deteriorating its ability to regenerate.
Okay.
So that is when people start aging faster. And that is when people start falling sick.
Right.
So that is why when you go to a good Ayurvedic doctor, he may forget to ask you what is your name, where you're coming from, what you do, but he will definitely ask you, did you go to toilet? Because that is one of the checklists of an Ayurvedic doctor's questionnaire, because it's a sign of life. So in ancient times, ancient rishis, because they were very much in connection with nature, because Ayurveda is a documentation of what we learned from nature.
Yes.
Whatever we learned from nature, that was documented.
Right.
And the difference between Ayurveda and Western medicine is so fixed on only that which is replicable in a laboratory situation. I call it scientific.
Right.
Yes, there is a lot of truth to that. But the best way to understand this is, one gentleman, he was searching for a lost key.
Okay.
And suddenly one police officer comes and asks him, what are you searching for, sir? And the gentleman said, I lost my key. I'm searching for my key. And the police officer asked him, are you sure you lost it here? And then the gentleman said, no, I actually lost it few blocks before. But then the police officer asked him, then why are you searching it here? He said, this is the only place where there is light. So because there is light, I'm searching there.
Right.
So Western medicine is limited to what is replicable in the laboratory.
Right.
And laboratory has its limitation. That is only where the light is. We are not seeing what it is. Our body is not just a physical robotic thing.
Right.
And if you take our Ayurvedic approach of body, it has like 5 sheets, like Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and there is much more to this.
Right.
And if you take the origin of Western medicine, it started with the Newtonian theory. He came up with the 3 laws, and it is all about dynamics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and what stays inert will stay inert, and what is continuing. So this was completely under the physical layer, which we call it as Annamaya Kosha.
Right.
Annamaya Kosha is the first layer. Whatever I'm eating, that is becoming my part of my body. And that is why, so when you are invested only in your Annamaya Kosha or your food sheath, it is only 20% of who you are.
Right.
And that is why Western medicine doesn't have a solution for 80% of the diseases that are there. Wow. Because they completely got out of that.
Right. Wow.
So in Ayurveda, we have a holistic holistic. That is why we call it holistic. Holistic means everything has to come together. It is not
Right.
just one identification.
Right.
So it has to be a complex, holistic approach. Only then there is a healing. And if you
Right.
see the word heal means what? It comes from the word hold. So healing is a way you connect with the holy things, everything. So it is not a reductionistic approach there. So when you understand Panchakarma is a lot to do with the physical layer of eliminating all the blocks. And while doing that, there is a lot to do with the other layers of your body as well. It is a complete transformation. So many people I see that they call Panchakarma as a detox therapy. It's like saying, okay, I went to Europe through Dubai airport. And just because I transited through Dubai airport doesn't mean I saw the whole of Dubai.
Right.
It's just an airport that I went through, and I went through some duty-free shops, and that doesn't mean I saw Dubai.
Yes.
Dubai is much more than that. Same way, Panchakarma is not a detox. It is a complete, it is completely a cellular level renewal that is happening in our body. And there are 5 procedures. And in order to do these 5 procedures, you need to prepare the body and mind. And it is not necessary that you have to do all the 5 procedures. Maybe we just do 2 procedures or 3 procedures. And after doing the procedure, there is a recovery. Just like when you go to an exercise or fitness, before you do an exercise, you have a warm-up, then you do the exercise, and then you have a warm-down. Only then, otherwise you can get injured. You can get. So this Panchakarma has 5 therapies. One is, you see, when you go to a high-rise building, you'll see that there are a lot of fire sprinklers.
Right.
And they'll also show fire exit. And what is that fire exit? In case of emergency, you need to know how you can escape and come out of this. Otherwise, what can happen is there. So there is an exit points in our body where the poison or something in our body is being to be eliminated.
Right.
So Panchakarma understands where are these exit points and how to make sure these exit points are working so that we eliminate the toxins from our body. So you remember the story I told you about the car and the tennis ball?
Right.
See, in Ayurveda, we have a profound concept called as ama.
Yeah.
The word ama, see, what is a poison? Poison is something that will kill a person.
Right.
So if you put a poison in a person's body, he could have various reactions.
Right.
He could have reactions like vomiting. He could have reactions like diarrhea. He could have reactions like fatigue. He could die. But before that, there could be a lot of reactions that could happen. His blood pressure can go up. He could have stroke. He could have heart attack. He could have kidney failures. He could go blind.
Right.
He could have paralysis, numbness.
Right.
He could have depression. He could have anxiety. And he could have hormonal imbalances.
Right.
There are so many symptoms, the way the body reacts when somebody is having a poison intake.
Right.
Now, tell me a disease which doesn't have a symptom that is similar to a poisonous attack. You take any disease. A disease is what? It's a group of symptoms.
Right.
Put it together, name it as a disease. Like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, and all this, we call it South India.
Yes.
Same way, arthritis is what? It is a group of symptoms. There is inflammation, there is pain, there is stiffness, and there could be morning stiffness. Many types of arthritis are there. According to that, you'll see. So, name a disease which doesn't have a symptom that is similar in a poison. I mean, you don't have to be a doctor.
I can't name any symptom.
It's common sense because any disease that you see, you will see it as a symptom, something similar to a reaction of somebody putting a poison inside.
Right.
And today we live in one of the most toxic surroundings, starting from the food, starting from our lifestyle, starting from a lot of it. And we call this poison as ama. And the word ama is a beautiful meaning. See, like Sanskrit, it has 2 sounds, a and ma.
Right.
See, ma means me. And the word a means not. Like the word arogya. Roga means disease.
Yeah, arogya.
A means not. So health is a state of no disease. That's why arogya. So anything that I put in my mouth, if I'm not able to blend that part as a part of me, that becomes a potential toxin.
Okay.
If somebody is entering your home and if he is not able to blend with your home and if he's creating problems in your home, he is a potential ama in your home.
Right.
If you eat something or inhale something or put something in your body or even in your mind, if you're not able to tolerate it or if you're not able to blend it with yourself,
Right.
that is a potential ama. That can
Right.
potentially be dangerous in the long term.
Right.
And it is not just toxicology that we are talking. We also have the concept of slow poison.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if you are interested in reading food labels, people are so interested today to understand what is in my medicine, what is this prescription. Also, please invest your time to understand what are the things that is there in the food that you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Go and check the label. What are these ingredients? Are they having any side effects? When you see what they're doing to your body, it creates a lot of harm in the long run. See, one day, 2 day, when you eat it, it's okay. But
Right.
over a long period, your body can fall sick.
Right.
So Panchakarma is a way to eliminate these toxins that we pile up over a long period.
Okay.
And when you do it regularly, we become healthy. It's like, when you drive a car, you always service it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every 5,000 kilometers, you have to service it. Only
Right,
then
right.
the longevity of the car is fantastic.
Right.
Of course, how you take care of the car is also important.
Yes.
But
Yes.
along with that, it goes hand in hand. You also have to take good care of it, and at the same time, you also have
Get
to
around the
service
car.
it.
Yes.
So Panchakarma is about servicing it.
Okay. I mean, the way that you service your car once in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you just keep servicing your body. It's a fantastic metaphor. Can you talk a little bit more about the Panchakarma rituals and the benefits?
So there are 5 therapies. So there are many preparations before you put let's say before you want to wash your plate. What do? You remove all the leftovers and then you wash it.
Right.
Same way, before you do the cleansing, you have to prepare the body. So it has to start with eliminating a lot of unhealthy food, eliminating a lot of unhealthy habits, going to sleep on time, eating on time. Because today people don't eat on time; they are eating when they want it, and binge eating is all happening. They might be into alcohol, or they might be going to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. A lot of screen time. So all this coming back to natural habits of the body has to come. So this is one of the preparation, and then we do a lot of external therapies like oil massage, kiri. Kiri is like, we use a poultice, like with a cotton cloth, we put some herbs and it is with a punch, and then we keep punching on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
See, today the greatest poison is sitting.
Yeah.
Our body is not actually designed to sit. We are actually designed to move.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we have brain, many science philosophers say, the reason why we have brain is so that we have control over our muscles, so we can run and explore and escape.
Right.
And when we are not moving our muscles, our body is becoming stiff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit for a long period, many parts of our body become stiff. That is why people have so much of neck pain, back pain.
Right.
These are necessarily not something that you will see in people who live in forest and that people who are having that primal force. So, but today our life is such that our physical activity has gone down so much. So many of these inflammatory conditions and the stiffness in the body has to be not broken. It has to be made easier. So, and after that is done, once we prepare the body, then we have a therapy called as oleation or snehana.
Okay.
So snehana is application of oil internally.
Okay.
It's like, if you have a late night dinner and if you're lazy to wash your plate, what do? You pour some water overnight so that the next morning it's much easier to wash.
Yes.
So that the sticky stuff doesn't stick there.
Yeah.
So when we eat a lot of food today, which is very sticky in nature, see, one of the good quality of good ama is very sticky.
Mm-hmm.
And sugar is glue. Sugar is sticky,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
So when you eat a lot of stuff which are sticky in nature, it can block your gut, which we call it as koshta. So long run, our ability to digest food is not as people say, I want to eat, but I feel tired after eating.
Right.
I'm overfed, undernourished. You're eating, but there is no energy. So before we clean the gut, we have to make it ready for cleaning. And that is what this oleation therapy is. And after this oleation, depending on the person, where the toxic level is more or the mucus level is more. If it is in the upper part, we have a therapy called as nasyam, where we pour oil. And this is one procedure that can be done every day, but in a lesser dosage.
Right.
And whatever I'm saying, please never do it at home without any guidance from a doctor. This is
From a
only
doctor.
for your
Information, yeah.
information and knowledge about what is Panchakarma. So we have a therapy called as nasim, where we pour salt water or oil, or sometimes we also inhale powder. So what it does is it goes inside and cleanse the mucus, and we create a reaction. See, when you inhale something you don't like, you immediately want to sneeze it out. So this can go and cleanse the whole part. And many people are having migraine, sinusitis, headache. And if they are eating a lot of sugar-based food or milk-based food or heavy food, they create a lot of mucus in their upper part.
Right.
So nasyam is a fantastic therapy for that. And in some people, if they're having a history of asthma or bronchitis, too much of respiratory mucus. For me, I had this because I ate a lot of sugar during my teenage days.
Right.
So every night I used to have puffed up because my nose would get blocked. So Panchakarma will help, but not just the Panchakarma. After that, you also have to live healthy. So in Sitaram, what we do is, along with the therapy, we also brainwash them how to live healthy. It goes hand in hand.
Right.
So this the next therapy is, see, when you drink something your body doesn't like, one of the ways the body reacts is we throw up. And if you have a pet dog, and if the dog is not feeling good, what it does is it goes and eats some grass and it just vomits out.
Right.
So all the mucus that is blocked there will go out. And what is happening is the nasyam and vomiting, why it is so important in Ayurveda, our body was not designed at a time, it was not designed to walk on two legs. We were four-legged.
Yes.
So there was a following down. So there was a gravity that was pulling a lot of things downwards.
Right.
But today you are standing. That is why people are having a lot of nasal issues. We even have a department called ear, nose, and throat.
Yes.
Because we are fighting gravity to keep it there. So elimination is much less compared to other parts of the body. So that is why in Ayurveda it is told every day you have to do the nasyam, but not vomiting, but nasyam. Because we can store a lot of toxins there. Because this is if your city is polluted, the first part of your body that is going to get affected is your nostril. Because we are going to inhale that.
Right.
So, and once you inhale, when your sense of smell is gone, it is going to affect. And if you're a smoker, you can produce a lot of mucus.
Right.
Some people say they can't even smell things. So in such situations, you have to put something inside the nose to eliminate, not something, it is a medicated herbal Ayurvedic preparation that we pour. And the other one is vomiting. We make the person drink a herbal liquid and then we make this person vomit. And this is not something that is done on everyone. We need to do a proper consultation and to make sure that person is fit to do this.
Right.
Only then we can do this. And also the patient should also have the willpower to do this. And this is not done for everyone. It is not necessary for everyone. But in some people with depression, asthma, too much of mucus, when they get up in the morning, they cough and they sneeze. Or if they're having blocked nose at night, migraine attacks. And if you ask people with migraine, they will say that the moment the migraine attack comes, once they vomit, they're going to feel relieved. And that's the way the body is, reacting. And Ayurveda is taking the intelligence of the body and we are just creating a safe environment for the body to does its intelligence.
Right.
That is what we are doing. So that is the second step. The third step is, if you are having bloating after food, if you're having acidity, or if you're having overweight, if you're having skin diseases, in such conditions, what we do is we give a herbal formulation, and after that, it will create a therapeutic diarrhea. You go and sit in the toilet for like half an hour, not half an hour, half a day also. It is not a laxative, it is a purgative. It is like a strong cleanse that goes on.
Right.
So what comes out and what you take will be two different things. The same with the vomiting. What you drink and what comes out will be two different things. Because all the mucus that the body is stored, depending on the restaurants that you visited, depending on the binge eating habits or the alcohol or smoking, whatever, even emotional patterns. Some people, when they get fearful or yuck feeling, they vomit. That's the way the body tries to eliminate it.
Right.
And the same with the purgation. Some people, when they get stressed, they have this diarrhea, or fear, they have this diarrhea. So the same way, if your body is holding on to some toxins, one of the ways to eliminate is we induce a therapeutic diarrhea. And it has to be done in a scientific way. We have to understand the energy levels of the patient and what is their koshta analysis, like can that person need, if they have a chronic constipation, then the dosage is more. If they are having a medium bowel movements, then the dosage is less. So this has to be done with the doctor's monitoring and observation. So that is the third therapy. The fourth therapy, according to Ayurveda, is considered as the king of all therapies. It is the enema, or we call it Vasti.
Okay.
Why Vasti is called as the king of all therapies? In Sanskrit, we also call it as Ardha Chikilsa. The word Ardha means 50% of all treatment is done just by that treatment.
Right, right.
And it also has a name called as Niruha Chikilsa. Niruha means you cannot use your logic to imagine the power of this treatment. It is that powerful.
Wow.
And why it is said, if you take any medication to clean your gut through your mouth, you cannot clean your large intestine, because this medicine reaches the large intestine, the liver will go and stop it.
Oh,
because liver cannot let any, because what you're actually putting is something that is not so easy for the body. So the liver will try to stop all the activities of that.
Oh,
so the only way you can clean the large intestine is you need to take the other route, which is what we call as enema. And the Ayurvedic enema is completely different from the traditional other enemas that you see in other parts. They use water enema, they use chlorophyll enema. There are many other enemas. In Ayurveda, enema always needs to have an oil medium, because your gut has an oil base. So Ayurveda uses a lot of oil-based enema preparations. So people with arthritis, people with brain fog, they are not able to think, or they are having chronic constipation, or even many cases where people are coming with fertility, PCOS, menstrual cycle, menopause issues. In such situations, we use, I mean, it's not just restricted to enema, it's a combination of many therapies, but enema plays a big role. But there is also a group of people where we should not perform enema if they have extremely low blood pressure, or if they have any hemorrhoids or bleeding piles. So that is why I said never try to do this by yourself at home. It's just like watching, during my childhood, we used to watch something called as World Wrestling Federation.
Yes, don't WWF.
Exactly. Don't do this at home. Please don't do this at home. I'm not saying it is that thing. It is just that a doctor has to be there so that he can make you go through this process much easier.
Right.
So that is about the enema. The fifth therapy is called as, we clean the whole gut. We clean the upper part.
Right.
Whatever food we are eating, the next moment it is becoming your blood. And the quality of our blood is the quality of our health.
Right.
And if you take the dhadus, after rasa, it becomes rekta, which is our blood.
Right.
So we cleanse, when the water is not good, what do? We go and clean up the tank in our home. So once the tank is clean, the water is healthy. Correct. But still some unhealthy water could be there. The water is not there. So that is why we speak about Rakta Moshana, which is bloodletting. Okay, in many countries, bloodletting is banned. It's because in some countries, in their cultural or folklore therapies, they did bloodletting for anything and everything. But there is a science behind when to use bloodletting. In fact, George Washington, the story goes that he died of bloodletting. Because, in some countries, when they had headache, they would do a bloodletting. So that is not the right way. In Ayurveda, there is a scientific approach whom to do bloodletting, whom not to do bloodletting. So if you are having high levels of uric acid, gout arthritis, high blood pressure, in such conditions, doing a bloodletting, which is about 200 ml or up to 300 ml, in some cases more than that. See, according to World Health Organization, if you are healthy, if you are not in your menstrual cycle, and if you're not a woman and not in your menstrual cycle, if you're not anemic, if you don't have low blood pressure, you can donate up to 500 ml or 450 ml to 500 ml every 3 months. So what we do is, when we eliminate a little bit of impure blood, the body produces fresh blood.
Correct.
And it has to be done again with the monitoring and scientific level. So these are the 5 therapies. This is just the 5 therapies. We don't do all the 5 therapies. In some people, we just limit to 2 or 3 therapies.
Right.
And depending on the number of days that they are staying, it all falls into that category.
Okay.
So there are therapies like Abhyangam, Shirodhara. We do a lot of therapies like Kiri. All of this fall into that category.
Okay, fantastic, doctor. So it's an amazing explanation on the 5 different rituals. So you spoke about Nasya, Vamana, Virechana, which is the purgation.
Yes.
We spoke about Vasti, Enema, and we also, last one is the Ratta Mokshana.
Exactly.
Bloodletting. Now, for a person who has no idea about Ayurveda or Panchakarma, it may appear to be a little, overwhelming, right? Okay, you have to go through all this. You spoke about the Snehana and various others, and also the diarrhea that somebody has to go through to let the toxins out. Now, how can a Vaidya make it easy for an average person without having to go through this feeling of getting bogged down?
See, that's the duty of a Vaidya. See, what a Vaidya does is he has to educate and train the mindset of the patient first. See, people don't simply climb Mount Everest because they like that challenge and they want to have the sense that I did something. But otherwise, why would they want to go and climb such a huge mountain? But there is a sense of achievement. On the other hand, when people are falling sick, their health is not good. If they take one challenge for a few days, if that is going to give them a benefit that, their whole energy level is getting better, imagine what a change it will happen. See, if your energy is not good, it's going to affect your work life, it is going to affect your marital life, it is going to affect your relationship.
Right.
It is going to affect everything in your life because
right.
There is only one home in your life, that is your body.
Right.
So first thing they have to understand, being healthy is an effort, but it's a much better effort than being sick.
Fantastic.
And we have to understand and see the best example. See, we have a beautiful garden in our place, and you will see the gardeners every day. It is not that they come and clean the garden once and go back and come once a year. It is an everyday ritual.
Right.
And that is what makes that garden so beautiful. And the same is with our body. But when we don't take care of the garden for a long time, we need an overall cleanse.
Right.
And that is what we do. So we have to educate them and understand this is what you'll be going through during this process. And are you ready for that? And it is not, and when the patient is cooperative, and when the patient is able to understand what the Vaidya is saying, when they are in good wavelength, this is a very smooth process.
Okay.
It's just that we have to debunk. So the moment you hear, oh my God, all of this process is there, then it becomes a bit, oh my God, I don't want to vomit.
Right.
It's not like that. It's see, our body is such a beautiful creation of nature. And we, look at every part of the body, just like the way you clean your body or take shower, the same is with our enemas. The body is unique and spiritual and sacred.
Right.
That's the approach we give to the body.
Right.
So, and another thing is, many of the people who are coming today are having diseases because of this stress.
Yes.
And stress, many of the people need not undergo Panchakarma. It is just, just like, let's say you are overweight. And if you go to the gym, let's say I want to do a workout. Immediately, he's not going to make you do push-ups and pull-ups and do all the bench press.
Right.
For the first 2 months, he might do what a regular fitness person does as a warm-up would be the main exercise of a person who's coming in the beginning.
Correct. Intensity. Yeah.
Same way, in Ayurveda, we have 2 types of therapies. It is called as Shamana and Shodhana. Shamana means, relaxing, eating healthy, or it can also be spending time in nature, getting exposed to the sunset, or getting exposed to good sun, getting exposed to wind, or doing good exercise. All of these are Shamana. It is like easy that your fasting is a great way of Shamana. It's not so intensive.
Right.
Shodhana is a very intensive therapy. All the 5 procedures that I mentioned in Panchakarma are Shodhana. Right. It is like intensive.
Right.
And there is Shamana. So it is a blend of Shamana and Shodhana. In many people that I see, if they are coming with too much of stress, just mental stress, our treatments will be limited to Shamana, where we do them good massage, good steam, good Shirodhara, healthy food, lot of medications. Maybe if the patient is ready, we might do 1 or 2 therapies of Panchakarma. But if the patient is coming not because of stress, I'm quite not stressed, I'm quite happy in my life, but I eat a lot and my lifestyle is quite unhealthy, but I'm not so stressed. In that person, we have to, maybe he also has a good willpower, we have to undergo the intensive Panchakarma.
Fantastic.
So there is no such thing that there is a universal formula. This is how Panchakarma is done. The same person who is coming last year, when he is coming back this year, the treatment will be different because the problems that he went through will be different. So every time it will be different. And that is why, that is the beauty of Ayurveda, because every time it is customized according to that point of time.
Right. Good. Very, very nice, doctor. What I heard you say is that I keep telling this to I also coach people. So I keep telling people, treat your body like a temple. That's the only place that you got to live.
Exactly.
You said that very well. So I have
just to check you, do I need to put on light? Because
I think it's fine. I think we have another 10 more minutes. I think we should be done. I think it's
okay.
Perfectly fine. So we have 10 more minutes and I have a couple of questions. And
yes, please, you can ask.
I have one question from the audience. We'll take that question and then I'll continue with my questions.
Sure.
Somebody's asking, so we eat with the hands and we also eat with the fork and the spoon. What difference does it make between the two? Eating with hands and eating with fork.
See, our senses are interconnected. See, if you ask a little, just like when we eat, smell is so important for us.
Right.
Because if you don't get the smell,
yes. Aroma is important.
The first thing that will happen when our appetite goes down is our sense of smell will also go down.
Right.
But when you touch something, there is also a nervous reaction that is happening. See, when you eat with your hands, there is a lot of energy also that is being transmitted. See, the beauty of Ayurveda is we do a lot of healing with our hands. And when you take food with your hands, you see, these hands came before fork.
Yes.
And we were not designed by nature that, okay, we are going to design him that he should use fork and knife. That's a Western culture, and they created a lot of other ways of enlightenment times, which is not actually nothing to do with natural way of doing it. So when you touch with the food, when you feel the food, there is also a difference. Just like the Pavlov's dog theory, the bell is ringing.
Yes. The dogs run for the food.
The saliva starts coming because our brain is so much into association.
Tuned. Yes.
So when you touch something and eat, there is a huge difference. And that food is much more, it is already going through another screening process. If it is too hot, what is the temperature of that? So definitely touching and eating is far more in connection with nature and to your soul than eating with a fork and
Okay.
knife.
So this question I have, doctor.
Yes.
You kind of answered, but I just want a little bit more details on that. Can Panchakarma be done at home?
Yes. Did you finish your question? Or
will that be still as effective as doing it in a retreat?
See, nowadays, I see people do yoga at home or even exercise at home. There is a difference when you go to a gym and doing it, and there is a difference when you do at home. The difference is, if you don't have a possibility of going to a retreat and doing it, the next best option is doing it at home. So I'm not saying you will have the same benefit like doing it in a retreat. That is never possible. But doing it at home is definitely something that you must do to protect your health. Like the environment plays a huge role. See, many of there is a research that I read. Our decision capacity is limited per day. So in an Israeli court, it was said that when a judge is sitting to give parole, prisoners when they're coming for parole. So what the research was, the judge used to sit till evening, and the first 3 hours, 80% of the prisoners who went to him got the parole sanctioned. The last hours, only 20% got sanctioned because his ability to decide is going down as the time goes off.
Yeah.
So our ability to decide is going down. And there's another rule. When a group study was done, 2 groups were made to watch 2 different documentaries. One documentary was, you have to put a lot of attention to understand and decode the documentary. It is like a scientific understanding. You have to keep sitting on your edge to understand what the other person is saying. And only then you can make out what that person is actually saying. And the other group, they can sit and watch it like in casual. It's like, how sports cars are made and how they are fantastic. So you could just watch it. You don't have to have a lot of
Make
knowledge.
notes,
You can just watch it aramse. And after both of them watched this documentary, they gave both the groups an option to eat what they want. The first group was, the two options to eat was, one was a healthy fruit salad, the other was an unhealthy sugar-filled cake.
Mm-hmm.
So what they found out, people who watched the EC documentary chose the fruit salad.
Right.
And people who watched that was so mind draining or brain draining or mentally draining, they chose the cake which had high sugar and which is not unhealthy.
Right.
So what we are trying to understand is, when we are sitting at home, there are lots of distractions. I have to do this, I have to do the laundry, I have to pay the bill, somebody's going to come there. A lot of distractions will come. Okay, what about the kids? What about the life? What about the work? And somebody is going to call me. So once you're bombarded with all of this information, and your ability to focus in your body is much less. And see, stress is very good for our body, provided we are allowing the body to have a good recovery.
Right.
And we have to understand, most of the stress that we are having is, see, our brain is designed for survival, not to keep us happy.
Right.
So when we say our brain is designed for survival, what we are saying is, imagine, the moment you see something moving, we think, okay, maybe that is lunch for me. That was how we were designed.
Right.
But at the same time, when something is moving, we also have to be alert, because you could also be the lunch.
Right.
So you have to, if you see you could be a lunch, you have to run and escape. So the moment the flight or fight, hormones are released, which we call it as cortisol. The moment this cortisol is released, we run and escape.
Right.
And when this hormone is released, all our big muscle groups are empowered so that we can run and escape.
Right.
But after you run and escape, the body has to undergo a recovery period. So all the cortisol that is released to the muscle has to deplete.
Right.
And then you can recover. The same way the body was releasing with that when you see a wild animal chasing you, today we are releasing the same hormone when we get stuck in traffic, when we are not able to finish things in deadline, when coronavirus news is being released, when Amitabh Bachchan is positive with that. All of these things, it is creating a lot of fear inside us.
Right.
What is happening with the recession? The same way we are releasing cortisol.
Right.
So that is why when you ask me the question, should we do Panchakarma for all of this? So if the person is coming with a lot of stress, we necessarily do not do the intensive Panchakarma. We do put him through a recovery period.
Got it.
And Ayurveda has the most powerful recovery therapies than any other science. This oil massage, Shirodhara, the steam, and eating healthy, and you are completely devoid of we are putting that person in a flight mode, and connecting with nature. You're putting on the circadian rhythm, and then along with that, when you do the Panchakarma, the result is there. So when you do this at home, you will have to put a lot of effort to create that environment. But when you come to a place like a retreat, that is already set. So you are putting that time to completely rejuvenate yourself. So that is the difference that I say. But I also prescribe today, there are some therapies like purgation. You can do it at home. The big enemas like Kashaya Vasti, I don't recommend. Never do that at home. But oil enemas, that can be done at home. Therapies like Nasyam, that can be done at home. Self-oil massage, that can be done at home. Some therapies can be done at home.
Right. So, doctor, I have one question from my side.
Yes,
and
please.
Looks like the audience also has a few questions. I'll ask my question first.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, do you have time? So, can we have?
Yes, we have time. We have time. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, can asthma be healed with Panchakarma and herbal medicine? This is the question coming from an audience.
What is the question again? Can you repeat that?
Can asthma be healed with Panchakarma and herbal medicines? Asthma.
Well, first thing I have to answer this. There are no incurable diseases. There are only incurable patients or incurable people.
Right.
See, asthma is a trained disease. Trained disease means, usually I'll tell you how it happens. It could start with, according to Ayurveda, a child is more prone to diseases of kapha. Kapha means, upper respiratory tract issues, water retention. And asthma is what? There is wheezing, their ability to breathe is blocked, there is bronchitis, and they have to use the inhaler. Then, once they are told you are having asthma, because the Western medicine, all they have is a steroid.
Mhm.
And they say that now you have to live with this for the rest of your life and you have to live with that inhaler.
Mm.
See, Western doctor is only talking what they are taught in their medical system.
Right.
And the biggest problem that I have with Western doctor, so even though I have so many good, great friends, Western
Right.
allopathic doctors, their biggest problem is when they read in their textbook a disease is incurable,
Mhm.
they go and tell that disease is incurable. See, instead of when they say it is incurable, what they're saying is a half truth and half lie. Instead of saying it is incurable, if they said we are yet to find a cure for that, it makes a
Right.
huge difference.
Absolutely. Yes.
There is a huge difference between calling a disease incurable and saying we are yet to find a cure for
Yeah.
that. There is
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. Right.
So in Ayurveda, I have treated if the patient is not so much independent with the steroids, if it is in the beginning case, or it could be with bronchitis, it could be with allergies, and if that patient is willing to change the diet, if that patient is mentally strong, if the patient is willing to put that change in their habits and the lifestyle, this is something that can be step by step. To a great extent, it can be gone.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. So one more question from the audience. Is Panchakarma treatment decided based on Nadi Pariksha or lifestyle?
There is no such thing as everything is decided by Nadi Pariksha. To a great extent, Nadi gives a lot of understanding of what is happening in a person's body. It's like, see, before stethoscope came, before the blood pressure apparatus came, before
Monitors
X-rays
came.
came, we were, like the ancient Polynesians, they were able to draw the Pacific Ocean map just by looking at how the wind was moving, how the clouds were, how the waves were. So we were having an intuition on understanding what is the pulse.
Right. Right.
So the pulse, see, when you want to see if that person is sick or dead, one of the things when we go and check his pulse is life is still there.
Right.
So Nadi is like a channel through which we can enter a person's energy field.
Right.
So it gives an understanding of what is happening. It is not that Panchakarma we decide with Nadi Pariksha. Nadi Pariksha is a great insight to a person's energy field. So, and we have many other parikshas that we decide. Their lifestyle has to be taken into consideration. We have to check the tongue. We have to ask many other questions. See, in Ayurveda, it is told darsana sparsana prasnahi. Darsana, see that patient. Prasna, ask that patient a lot of questions. And sparsana, touch that patient and understand what are the things. These three are the foundations of an Ayurvedic diagnostic.
Fantastic. So see, ask, and touch.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One last question, and with that, we are done, doctor. I personally have heard that Panchakarma should not be done near the beach.
Okay.
What's your take on it? Is it true? Could you please clarify?
See, there is a reason why people come with that propaganda. First of all, we have to see who is saying that. But first, before I go into that propaganda, first let me say, see, I did Panchakarma first in a non-beach place. And still, there is yet a good place where you can do proper Panchakarma in a beach. Most of the places that you see in a beach, it's mostly of, a revival kind of a good massage, good shirodhara. The intensity of what you get in a doctor and clinic is still missing. Okay, we do it in our Sitaram Beach Retreat, but that is missing. But the point that I want to make it clear is in Ayurvedic textbooks, it is said nowhere it is mentioned you should never do Panchakarma near a beach or a hill or any other place. But it is mentioned never do Panchakarma, or especially it is told at the time of doing ghee therapy or snehapana, because our body is weak, never expose yourself to heavy wind, extreme heat, extreme cold.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is mentioned, and extreme wind.
Okay.
And these four things you don't want to expose no matter what. Even if you're healthy, you don't want to expose to these things.
Right.
But, and so what people say is, if you're near the beach, maybe you could be exposed to heavy wind. And that is true. When you're near the beach, some days, especially during the monsoon time, the breeze can be heavy. But we have when we do the intensive Panchakarma, we educate the patient. You have to stay in your room, and only access is to the treatment room. And we do the important protections. And what we are saying is, just because of this one issue, if you say you cannot do it near the beach, it's like saying somebody died of a car accident, so nobody should drive in the world. And usually this propaganda comes from a person who is running a property which is not near the beach, because many patients wants to go near the beach because We
Right.
love nature.
Right.
See,
Right.
nobody puts a front page ad and says that go and watch the sunset near the beach. Something is drawing us there.
Yes.
And in my experience, see, I have done it in both the places, and I have seen patients doing Panchakarma in a non-beach place and in a beach
Right.
place.
Right.
When they do it in a place where there is beach or there is nature, their revival and recovery of the nervous system is just phenomenal. They are a completely different person.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
and usually what I see is people go and do Panchakarma in a room where there is air conditioned and a television. And when you keep watching that television, most of the stress people are having is because of the smartphone and the screen time.
Right.
And we don't provide screen, we don't provide access to television. All they have is just the nature, you know.
Right.
And they have to eat on time, and after 8 o'clock there is not much entertainment. They have to go back to sleep, because
Right.
connecting with the nature's rule is the foundation of a good Panchakarma. So in my
Yes.
opinion, see, we restrict people, and if you come to this place like I want to go to a beach holiday, then it is a different case.
Right.
But when you come with the intention, I want to do good Panchakarma, at the same time I want to have the benefit of a good nature, then it's a profound healing that goes to a person. And usually in a non-beach location, because people, this is just lazy marketing propaganda that, you know, you should not do it near the beach. It's lazy marketing because it's much easier to pull out that propaganda. So they say that. No, and prove it to me from a textbook where they say that you should not do it in a beach.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much for your time. We exceeded time by about 6 minutes. Two
Thank you.
takeaways, I think personally for me, and also I believe the people who are watching this webinar is, treat your body like a temple. That's the only place that you got to live. If you're servicing your car every 3 months and 6 months, you got to service your body at least 6 months and 6 months. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all the listeners.
Wish you all the best. Yeah.